So I have this hat here to represent that it's winter because this is a winter video. And fun fact, actually, it says diamond because, it says diamond because it was stitched that way. But essentially, I liked it because when I was a kid, and still sometimes to this day, I played Minecraft. And I liked getting diamonds in Minecraft. But anyway, as we all know, in the winter, I can't help but notice that everything just kind of sucks. And I don't know if you feel the same way. Well, chances are you've been suspecting it, but everything just seems like it sucks. And it's the start of February, and this is like that deep winter moment. Now, if you're in countries that don't have snow and you have plenty of sunlight, well, consider yourself lucky, because I've also spent winters in those parts of the world where it essentially doesn't feel this way. But for myself, living in Canada especially, in the winter, everything just sucks. Every single winter, it's the same thing. It's just a pattern. And I know there's even clinical studies done on it. The fact that we lack vitamin D because the sun is extremely weak or indirect, and we don't really absorb enough vitamin D, and we're wearing long sleeves. So we're just not getting enough of whatever we need, the sunlight. And because of that, people develop this seasonal depression. It's called SAD, S-A-D. I don't know what the A stands for, but it's basically seasonal depression. And I'm not saying we're all depressed. Even for someone who is very usually upbeat and uplifted, something still feels off. Especially some days, you just wake up and everything just sucks so bad, and you don't know why. Of course, you can sit there and blame the way your life is, and you think, well, this is going wrong, this is going wrong, and it all just feels like everything is going wrong right now. But if I look historically, things always seem to go wrong around this time. And it's not that it's particular to this time. Things are happening all year round, but you just notice it the most in the state. And I've also tried taking vitamin D, and it helps a little bit. It doesn't make you as sleepy, or this very feeling that you want to hibernate. You just want to stay inside all winter. You don't want to go anywhere. And this is coming from a person who used to work door to door outside in the winter. And it was like the worst time, because imagine trying to make sales in the winter when everyone's depressed. Nobody wants to leave their house, including you. So I'm there. I don't want to be there. And nobody wants to talk to anyone. Nobody wants to buy things. And I looked back actually at why sales drop always in the winter months, and it's actually a trend. In the months like January, February especially, they're the worst months for business. Why January? Well, now you just came off of the high of the holidays. So guess what happens? Every time you reach a high, you're going down. It's going to be a low point. So you've just spent all the holidays maybe drinking, maybe having fun, spending time with your family, whatever you do for fun. And then you kind of go back into real life. You go back to work, and there's like a huge low right after. And combine that with the fact that it's cold, there's snow everywhere, and it's dark all the time, and you're lacking vitamin D. Yeah, it makes sense why things seem like they suck. Even if you can pinpoint specific life things, maybe your car broke down so you have to fix it. Actually, for me, the other weekend, I was driving with my girlfriend to a birthday party from one of her friend's kids was having a birthday party, and it was a little bit outside of the city. And I was driving on country roads, and of course there are potholes everywhere, and I'm already avoiding them like crazy, and before you know it, one pothole does the trick. I completely bent my rim. Now, it's a miracle the tire didn't blow out, because it usually does. So we were still able to make it home, and it just lost pressure gradually. So the rim is bent. Now this one little outing, I have to deal with fixing it, finding something else, changing my wheel. I did just that. I just changed to a different wheel. I put on a new tire, whatever. And in that moment, I just thought, this really sucks. Like, why now? And the funny thing is, I actually, well, it's a bit embarrassing to admit, but I break my wheels all the fucking time. It's a low profile tire, and the rims aren't that strong, it seems. And the potholes here are the worst. So no matter how careful you are, I break these wheels multiple times a year. And usually, it's just not a big deal. I'm used to it. I get it fixed and I'm back on the road. It is what it is. But just the fact that it happened during this time when everything sucks, it makes it like 10 times worse. You wake up the next day and you start thinking, you know what? Maybe I should just stop driving in the winter. Or maybe I need to get an SUV with thick ass tires so that I never have to worry about potholes again. You just start thinking over everything and thinking, what am I doing with my life? Why am I dealing with these problems? But then a week passes and you're like, you forgot that even happened and it doesn't matter anymore. So here's how I learned to survive these seasons. You can accept it's gonna suck, or you can go to a different place that doesn't have a winter like this, so you actually skip all of these symptoms. And that's really only if you have the opportunity to do that. But if you're like the rest of us, we have to spend our winter here, and we're not going to be going anywhere, well then, all you got to remember is don't take any important decisions. Sometimes you have to, but they cannot be done in a state like this or in an emotional state. Keep doing what you were doing before winter and keep doing it after. And the moments of springtime or summer, that brings clarity. You get all your vitamin D, you're outside, you're full of energy, and you just have way more clarity. And very often, if you were doing the right things during this period as well, you're going to be glad that you continued doing all those things. So if you're going to the gym, keep going to the gym. I know some days you wake up and it's snowing and it's cold and you just think, fuck the gym, I'm not going to the gym today. And this happens. When I show up to the gym on those days, there are a lot of people that actually aren't there. It's way less busy because I know it's one of those days where everyone just got hit with that winter depression. It's those really dark, murky days that are very cold and nobody wants to get out of their house. Not even for the consistent people who go to the gym. And it shows. But the truth is, winter is here to stay. It's part of the seasonal cycle. It's part of where you live. And you can't just close your eyes every time winter hits. Because that's what it seemed like people are doing. Even when I spoke to potential customers, when I was doing door-to-door sales, it's like this across for everybody. Nobody wants to do anything or deal with anything right now. I had people straight up telling me, everything you're saying sounds good. I like the product. I want to get it. I just don't feel like doing shit. I don't even want to look into it. I don't want to be bothered by any of this. You know what? Come back in the summer. And I thought that was the craziest answer because I understand that you don't feel like doing anything, but come back in the summer? Like, you're going to do something because of a different season? And yeah, it just so happens this is how we work as humans. A lot of us don't want to do anything. And when we go to work, especially if you're working a corporate job and you're in an office all day, you're probably just trying to scroll on your phone or do as little work as possible because you're so demotivated. You just have no energy. And every day that you wake up and it's dark, it's just twice or 10 times as hard. You're just thinking, well, today I'm just not going to show up. I know, I think those things as well. And all you can do is survive those times. Don't take any crazy decisions. Don't decide to quit something that you were doing initially because it no longer makes sense to you. That's not a smart way to make a decision. Instead, you have to let it pass. Winter's gonna pass anyway, and then you can reflect back. But going into winter, you should continue doing the things you were doing. So if you were starting a business, running a business, starting certain habits, if you were in the gym, if you started a new diet, whatever it is that you were doing, keep doing it. Because you probably decided to start those things in the right state of mind. And right now, you're not in the right state of mind. I completely feel it every day that things just aren't the way they usually seem. They just seem so. Everything seems like there's less life in it. Everything is so purposeless right now. And there's these periods of just plateau. But the difference between people who actually achieve their goals and get further in life and those that don't, in this case, is simply when these winter months hit and everybody's depressed and they themselves are also depressed or just in a state of everything sucks, they just kept doing it almost monotonously like a robot, like as if you don't feel anything, you just keep doing it, and then eventually it gets better. And once you're on the other side, once it is summer, or even spring for that matter, you know, we all know that first day when it's suddenly warmer and the sun's out and all the snow is melting, and you just feel like you got a kick of fresh energy and everybody's happy. If you're in business or sales go through the roof, and you just feel like there's hope again. And you're so glad you stuck it out and you made it through the winter while doing all the right things and you didn't just give up on yourself. You will be glad, believe me. And a lot of us when we're younger, or maybe even still, maybe if you're older, we're not conscious of this happening. We just kind of get depressed in the winter and happy in the summer, and we don't even pay attention. But I've been observing this for many years now, and this is always the pattern. So there's no point in rejecting it and saying, no, this is all bullshit, because clearly the entire city, the entire country goes through like a freeze. Everything slows down, business gets worse, people stay home, production lowers, everything just sucks. Everything comes down to a halt. That's what it feels like, but just hang in there. If you guys like things to talk about, as always, as you know, subscribe, like the video, do all that fun stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.